10 best World Cup matches ever. In this video, we're going to look at 10 of the craziest and best World Cup matches of all time. As you know, the World Cup is a footballing party. It is the pinnacle of football, and so you would expect that there will have been a fair few good World Cup matches. And so picking some of the best was not easy, and it took us some time to come up with this list. We wanted to look at matches that were not only entertaining, but also had a huge impact and were memorable for years to come. If you are a seasoned football fan, then this should be a nice trip down memory lane, and you should be able to remember where you were when you were watching most of these matches. Anyway, let's dive in to the top 10 best World Cup matches of all time. But before we do that, we would really love it if you could hit the like button to support the channel. Remember, we make these videos for free for your entertainment, and that's all we ask for in support. Hit the subscribe button while you're there too. All set? Go grab a nice cold beer and let's get into it. Number 10, Spain versus Portugal 2018. There was only one man who glittered in this stunning football match like no other, Cristiano Ronaldo, scoring a hat-trick that will be talked about for decades to come. And this came against a formidable team by the name of Spain, one of the favourites to win the tournament altogether. The match will also be remembered for a howler by one of the best goalkeepers around at the time, David De Gea. Ronaldo had an almost innocuous dab at the ball which just trickled its way past the Manchester United goalkeeper. His second goal was a penalty, and as we know, penalty kicks from Ronaldo usually unstoppable. But to cap it all off, Ronaldo put a free kick past De Gea in the most unorthodox of fashions. Well, we should say unorthodox for anyone but Ronaldo. He side-footed it over and curled it over and under the wall from what seemed like an impossibly close range. Incredible free kick and one of the best ever seen at a World Cup. This match ended in a thrilling 3-3 draw. Number 9, England versus Germany 2010. England and Germany, two countries whose rivalry extends beyond the footballing field, but we won't get into that today. This was a match that was hyped as being the match of the tournament, and it didn't disappoint, but not for reasons that you might be thinking. Actually, this match became one of the most controversial of all time. Main reason is because with England losing 2-1, Frank Lampard scored a goal which clearly went over the line, but the referee and the linesman didn't see it. This caused so much controversy that it was probably the match which forced FIFA's hand to bring in goal line technology, which has been one of the best additions to the game of football. Had England's goal stood and made it 2-2 going into half time, then you could argue that the momentum would have been with England, and who knows how that match would have ended. In the real world though, the match ended in a 4-1 win for Germany. Number 8, Japan versus Belgium 2018. Now Japan, not a country that is well known for football, but in 2018 they participated in a World Cup classic. The first half of the match actually saw no goals at all, but the second half was a thriller to behold. Japan opened the scoring, surprisingly, and then followed it up with another one. With less than half an hour to go, the Japanese were 2-0 up and looked like pulling off a huge upset against one of the favourites to win the World Cup. Belgium would be out if they couldn't find a way to turn things around, but somehow they did. An unassuming character of the team, Jan Vertonghen, opened the scoring, and that breathed a light of confidence into the Belgium team. They went on to equalise, and it looked like the match would head to extra time. But with virtually the last kick of the game, Belgium snatched victory out of the jaws of defeat to complete a remarkable turnaround. The final scoreline 3-2 to Belgium. Number 7, France versus Brazil 2006. Here's another match that will be talked about for a long time, and most of that is down to one great magician of the game, Zinedine Zidane. Before doing the undoable as a manager in the Champions League, defending a Champions League crown and then winning it back-to-back, Zidane glided on the football pitch and he seemed to caress the ball rather than hitting it. And the charisma of Zidane was in full show in the 2006 World Cup and in this 2006 match contested against Brazil. He was playing against other titans of the game such as Ronaldinho and Ronaldo, and Zidane was in peak form and literally ran the show. At the age of 34, where most footballers are in decline, Zidane was in peak form and played a huge part in assisting Thierry Henry for the winning goal. France knocked reigning champions Brazil out of the 2006 World Cup with a 1-0 win. Number 6, South Korea versus Turkey, 2002. Now Turkey or South Korea, not exactly titans of international football, but in World Cup of 2002, these two teams went very deep into the tournament and threatened to actually win it. Both of them played the eventual finalists Germany and Brazil, and it was their semi-final losses which made them face each other in the third place playoff. A match that is usually forgotten by most, but not in this case. Turkey broke out and scored in less than 15 seconds, a record that stood as the fastest goal in World Cup history at the time. The match overall was an end-to-end high-paced dream, with Turkey winning 3-2 and taking third place in that year's World Cup. Number 5, France versus Argentina 2018. In the round of 16 match held in 2018 between these two powerhouses of international football, the final scoreline was 4-3 to France, but there was so much in between. After an early goal by France, Argentina equalised brilliantly with the help of Di Maria, and then against the run of play took the lead after a ball was deflected off a shot from Messi. But then Benjamin Pavard scored one of the best goals of the whole tournament, only for Mbappe to follow it up with 2 quick-fire goals. France led 4-2, but in the final stages of the match, Aguero headed the ball home to make it 4-3, and you wondered if it might turn around again. But no goals followed. The final scoreline was 4-3, and France would go on to win the 2018 World Cup. Do you remember this match? Click the like button if you do. Number 4, Netherlands versus Spain 2014. Netherlands beat Spain in one of the most dramatic World Cup group stage matches of all time. Spain were the defending champions in 2014 with players like Iniesta, Xavi and Busquets and others that helped clinch the 2010 World Cup still in the team. Spain were the strong favourites to win the 2014 World Cup, but this match didn't go as expected. Spain took the lead and we saw one of the most brilliant headers of all time from Robin van Persie, which earned him the nickname the Flying Dutchman, to level the scores. And then it all went a little bit crazy for Spain. Robin wriggled and tiptoed his way past the Spanish defence and the goalkeeper to add to a list of picture-perfect goals in this match. Remember, Spain took the lead, but they ended up losing 5-1. They were also then knocked out in the group stages. Number 3, South Korea versus Germany 2018. As you've noticed, something strange seems to happen to defending champions at World Cups, and Germany were the victim in 2018. Germany, the defending champions, crashed out in the group stage of 2018 after failing to beat South Korea. Many saw this match as a revenge against the Germans by South Korea, who were kicked out of the World Cup in 2002 by Germany controversially. Germany needed to win, and the match was 0-0 heading into injury time when South Korea then took the lead. Initially, it looked like VAR would chalk the goal off, but in the end, it stood. And now Germany needed 2 goals, so they piled all their men forward, including the goalkeeper. Germany were then caught on the break, and Son made it 2-0 to South Korea. Germany were out in the group stages without even winning a match. Number 2, Ghana versus Uruguay 2010. This is a match that will sting the Africans for a long time. In this thriller of a quarter-finals against Uruguay, the first goal of the match was scored by Muntari of Ghana, who hit a wonderful long ranger. Diego Forlan then equalised for Uruguay with a delightful free kick, which was just as good as the first goal. The score was then 1-1 and the match headed into extra time. And in the last minute of extra time, the ball was fired past the Uruguayan goalkeeper, only to be stopped by the hand of Luis Suarez, who was sent off as a result. Ghana received the penalty, and if they scored that penalty, they would almost be guaranteed to be in the semi-finals of the World Cup, as there would be no time for Uruguay to reply. However, Ghana missed the penalty, and then not only that, they proceeded to lose the penalty shootout, and Uruguay were the winners and progressed to the next round. I have a question for you. If you were Luis Suarez, would you have done the same thing to save your country? Leave a comment below and let's be honest. Now let's get into number one best World Cup match of all time, and I think many of you will have guessed this one already. Give yourself a pat on the back if you did. And while some of you might be too young to remember it, there is a good chance you have heard about it. And here it is. Number one, England versus Argentina 1986. This is the World Cup tournament which cemented the legacy of one Diego Maradona to being footballing God. It was in this very game that the hand of God came to undo England. The hand of God goal on its own is worth talking about, but it was the goal after that what makes this the greatest match in World Cup history, and I'm sure you've seen it before. Maradona receiving the ball in his own half, dancing, tiptoeing his way around a number of players before dinking the ball past the England goalkeeper. To score a goal like that on the biggest stage against one of the best defences in the tournament is something that will never be repeated, and it has to go down as the greatest World Cup goal of all time. The match ended 2-1 to Argentina, and they went on to win the World Cup in 1986. This is surely the greatest World Cup match of all time, unless you're English like us. Anyway, there were some great matches on that list, but I suspect we missed a few. Let us know which ones should have been on the list in the comments section. And yes, we do know that the 1966 World Cup final is not on the list, but that match probably deserves a whole video for itself. And with so many matches from the 2018 World Cup on the list, does that mean the 2018 World Cup was the best ever? Comment below and also hit the like button if you did enjoy the video. And if you did enjoy the video and you like videos like this, there should be another really good one appearing on the screen right now in the middle. Click on that video and then we will see you in the next video.